All right, so I'm now filing my sixth appeal, and already they're breaking the law. So the clerks are filling out my case appeal statements and they're lying. So you'll see that in this case appeal statement, and mind you, each appeal I file is $750. So I've already filed 5 previous appeals that were all ignored by the Supreme Court. Every Supreme Court judge saw all the evidence and chose to protect the lawyers, the judges, and the brokers, and have allowed the attacks on me. And now $30,000 worth of my furniture was stolen out of my house and never returned to me. And my house was sold, and they're trying to award Bobby's lawyers legal fees instead of giving me the proceeds. So you can't steal something from somebody to obtain it and then hold it ransom while you try to cover up your conspiracy. And this is what they're doing. So the funniest part now is, again, we're at appeals, which the state of Nevada is a joke. And I pray that there is somebody out there that has enough morals to say this is enough. This is 5 years, and you got to think about it. I was only married to the man for 2 months. He came to the table with nothing. So how is it he got all the community property, he got the entire proceeds from the house, and he got all his legal fees paid? How does that even make sense? But when you have a legal system that no longer functions properly, this is what happens. So I'm on my 6th appeal now. And the case appeal statement says I've never had representation. Well, for the first 2.5 years, I was represented by 2 separate law firms that both committed legal malpractice and both tried to ensure that I got no justice for the crimes committed against me. And they did this to me after the death of my son. But the state bar is also protecting them. So on the case appeal statement, it says I didn't have attorneys, but I have video files of the attorneys representing me in court. So the next thing that they're doing is, again, forcing me to go through this process because my case isn't even in family court anymore. So it got changed to district court. It's on the 6th judge. So any Supreme Court judge should have enough common sense to see what's going on. But the agenda is they don't care what's going on. They want to protect each other, and I'm probably just a casualty of their business, which is ridiculous. We're becoming a nation that has no rights. We're becoming a nation that does not hold any part of our government, our justice system accountable for anything. So if you can do whatever you want and get away with it, and no one does anything to stop it, why would you stop? That's the crazy part. So again, I'm going to track the whole thing. I'm going to record every part of it. There's never been a hearing since I caught Raina Hughes in 2020. May of 2020, I got a letter from an expert proving the forgery, and I caught the judges lying and switching judges. Every case I have filed, they have switched the judge. So, at this point, the community coming together can ensure that 40, 50 judges go to prison where they belong, instead of putting innocent people in prisons where they do not belong. And then awarding criminals for breaking the law as long as they help protect your corruption too. That's sickening. And, I know God has somebody out there that's going to help me. And I know that there's many people have been watching this for 5 years, and maybe you're not strong enough to stand up to these people, but you're tired of it. And, that's what I'm going to keep holding on to. I'm going to keep my faith. I'm going to keep exposing each and every single one of them. Each month I get smarter and smarter. I find something else that they did wrong. And, I'm just ready for this to be done. But I want justice. I want justice for what they did to me, and I want justice from what they've taken from me. So this next video is going to show you the case appeal statement now that we filed another appeal. And mind you, each appeal's to have an attorney is $15,000. Bobby makes $14 an hour. This is the 6th appeal. So, and then you see in the orders, they're charging all his fees to me. So he's never had to pay for anything in 5 years, and he's lived with his mama for 5 years while they all conspired to attack me. And a man shouldn't be rewarded for that. So, I'm praying that the Supreme Court finally does the right thing, because each order they say, oh, you haven't gone to district court to get justice. Well, now they know I went to family court, district court, and 30 judges, and not one of them has followed the law. So we'll see if one of these Supreme Court judges follows the law. And if not, I'll be back in federal court against each and every one of them, because you don't commit these kind of crimes and just walk away. Here are the case details for the divorce matter. You can see that my motion was not heard. She acknowledged nothing that I filed and ruled in chambers, changing nothing since 2020. You can see that Judge Raina Hughes illegally sealed the case in an attempt to hide their misconduct. Each appeal cost me $750, in which the Nevada Supreme Court simply ignores everything. The clerk then files a case appeal statement in which she tells several lies in the statement, stating that I was never represented by counsel, and then it also states the other appeal numbers. So the Nevada Supreme Court and every judge and lawyer have had adequate evidence of the misconduct, the legal malpractice, the judicial abuse, and the fact that I have not been protected as a victim of a crime. Garrett Chase is again representing Bobby in this appeal, in which Bobby Ante has not been held responsible to pay for any legal fees, as he's been protected while he's helped people attack somebody he said he loved. The Supreme Court refuses to acknowledge that I had counsel by Chris Tillman initially, then Jared Jennings, Adam Fulton, and Logan Wilson, who represented me for over 2 years and said nothing about the multiple switching of judges, removed all of my evidence, and then was protected by Nevada State Bar when they all got caught. They then charged me for 3 separate cases where they concealed evidence in each and every case. They did nothing to stop the legal malpractice of Shumway Van, who continued to attack me, and did nothing to get the Las Vegas Police Department to make an arrest, even though they have very clear and adequate evidence. Nevada Supreme Court refuses to acknowledge that Kathy Hardcastle was my first judge and learned of the fraud, then transferred the case to Judge Raina Hughes, who allowed delays of trial for 2 years until she lost her seat, and the case was then transferred to D. Butler, who reported nothing. Christina Pickering then was the first Supreme Court judge notified before switching the case now to Don Thorne, who is not even a family court judge. Every single person has ignored the very clear notary fraud from Nikki Secaucus Bott and has allowed the legal malpractice of Shumway Van, Garrett Chase, Grayson Moulton, and Michael Van. Garrett Chase also represented the realtor Linda Nah. So when Nevada Supreme Court received the appeal for the Linda Nah case, they had very clear evidence of the legal malpractice of Garrett Chase. Garrett Chase took over Bobby Ante's case after Grayson Moulton was caught in court. Michael Van is the owner, yet they have continued to represent themselves, the realtor, Bobby, anybody that they possibly can while they're committing legal malpractice. I have named them in several lawsuits in which this law firm should be shut down, and it was all reported to the Nevada Supreme Court in 2020. Yet, for 2.5 years, they've done nothing to stop any of it. After catching Judge Raina Hughes committing fraud and fabricating her order, she then illegally sealed this case to try to make it to where people could not see what they have done. There was no jury, no evidentiary hearing, no discovery, and no work done at all. So they're simply stealing money from me because I'm one person with nobody to stop them.